waiter just looked at me and she said, you know, when I see you, I have to smile. I didn't meet her before. I said, well, that's my profession, you know. So I think in the best case, we really bring lightness and joy and how was somebody said it, reviving optimism into into life and work. That's at least what it did for me in my life, and that's why I like it.
So you said systemic constellation.
Yes.
I have no idea what that is. So when you first got that invitation to come to this solution focus, whatever it was, systemic constellation.
Yeah.
What attracted you to it in the first place?
Well, that was not related to solution focused, actually. That is something that this constellation work, I'm still fascinated about it, is that we can use the space and we can look at we are part of systems and the interactions are always between different animals of the system. And you can put this inner picture that we have in our mind, how we construct the reality, we can put this outside and really use elements which are standing in the space. And when you have these people standing in the space, where there can be real people, you know, there can be, for example, I'm communicating with somebody, there is my colleague or my friend or somebody I have a conflict with, but there can be also inner parts. So there can be something like me, myself, and the self, which is, you know, I am when I'm in my full power, like when the miracle has happened. And I can literally define two places in the space where I'm in the normal state, how I'm today when I'm talking, you know, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed with what all is happening in my life. And then, you know, the miracle happened and you use a different place. And the interesting thing is we are thinking differently when we're standing at a different place. And that was something that fascinated me. And how is it possible that we are thinking differently and when we are at a different place? So I was very much curious about this connection between body perception and how we construct reality and how we can use that. That attracted me to it. And I really got hooked from it. I couldn't stop it anymore.
So after this this initial introduction, when you went back to your, I guess, work, your normal kind of day job, how did it make a difference for you in the way you interacted with your colleagues or clients? Or
that was actually the beginning of my coaching journey, because before I was working in management development and I did trainings the classical way. You know, you have some concepts, you make role plays, you teach people in a way, you have all kind of concepts that you have to teach, and it didn't work for me anymore, because I thought, who am I to tell these guys? There is so much more that they know. And I would like to create a space where learning can happen, where they are coming with their own ideas and to facilitate learning. And that really changed my approach dramatically, because all the training became more a coaching style. And we had once an assignment. A big international company asked us the original assignment was that we should teach. There were CFOs from a company that would all gather here in Romania from Finland to South Africa. And I knew the HR director, and she said, we want that you teach them in half a day, these CFO guys, how they can be having a stronger impact in the board, because these guys are very introverted, and you should teach them in half a day to be more, impactful in the board. 3 hours you have, And we thought, okay. So what we then did, actually, we thought, well, there were about 70 people. And we said, well, we have 70 experts in this room. So, and they all know how to do it in one way or the other. So we created a lot of coaching conversations between these guys, between these people, about when are they doing it, what would happen if they really are more have a stronger impact? What impact would it have on their work and on the company and all these things? So we gave them the coaching questions, and we could have done this with 100 people, because it doesn't matter anymore, because I'm not the one who teaches and they're all active. And it took quite some time to prepare that program, that it really, really was work, and that we got the trust of the client. But in the end, where they were coaching one another, and it was great energy, doing positive gossiping on one another. It was really, really fun. Yes, it was really a project I liked. And I liked it so much that they said, well, we have another program when we're going to meet with the Asian guys. Can you come to Beijing? And I was say, yes, of course I go to Beijing.
Why not?
Why not? But the funny thing is I was so busy with all this, and I totally forgot that I need a visa. And that's a different story. I almost ended up in the airport, but I'm not going to tell this now. It has nothing to do with solution focus. Oh, but that was a very nice project, and we have written an article around that, how we build it. Yes. And that's what I think solution focus makes. Peter Szabo says, he calls it a chocolate job, a chalky job. When you need to do some preparation, but then you just, you can step back, you don't need to do very much. And that was very different than when I was training. I was very exhausted. Normally after the training, I felt empty. And that's very different when I'm working, in a solution-focused coaching way. A colleague of mine, he said once, he's working in HR, he's doing executive search, and he said, Petra, you must have a heavy job. All these people, when you do coaching, they're telling you your problems, and you have to solve these problems for these people. I said, I'm not sure that's what people do. I think they're telling me their preferred future, what their dreams are, what their best hopes are, and what are their resources, and what they're going to do about it. This is what they're sharing with me. And I don't have to solve anything.
Oh, wow. John, do you have a question?
I do, yeah. So what's a highlight in your SF career, Petra? What's a highlight?
I think what is my highlight, what I really like, is these conferences, to organize the conferences and bring the community together.
So what for those who don't know, what are those conferences?
What are these conferences? Yeah, you know them. You're part of that. Yes. I think for me, the conferences were very, very important for my own development, because at the beginning, I just did the training, and, I was living here in Romania. Nobody else was doing this kind of coaching here or work. And I felt quite lonely. So I really needed the community, and this Soul community, solution focused and organization, this community, they were not only an inspiration for me for learning, because you go to these workshops, you have these practices, but for me, it really helped me to connect with people that I can reach out anytime. And I found really, really good friends in this community. And that was my wish then, to bring this more to Romania also. So what I love about this Soul communities is really this very appreciative attitude and mindset, and that there is no difference between the participants and the ones who are on stage delivering workshops. Everybody is perceived as an expert. And there's really this way of connecting with one another. I really like that. You really feel welcome. And I've been in other communities and other, whatever possibilities of exchange with other colleagues. And sometimes on these conferences, you sense in the discussions who is the smartest guy, who is somebody. When somebody makes a presentation, they're coming these questions that kind of bring the other one down. And I didn't experience this ever. It really you feel safe to ask, you feel safe to present something. You feel safe to have no clue, and you feel people who will support you and share with you. And I really, really appreciate that very much. So these were my highlights, yes. And I keep on doing that.
It's a wonderful description of Soul World, actually. The Soul World conference is the next one of which is in Vienna, which I have nothing to do with, but I am going. That sense of being with people, what I found, because I have, my highlights are probably the same, and what I found was I used to work in amateur theatre, not work in amateur theatre, I did amateur theatre. And when I got together with theatre people, I thought, I'm with my tribe almost. Yeah. It was like, I'm really just felt comfortable. It was completely different from the reality of my life. I felt exactly the same when I walked into a soul conference. After a day or so, not immediately, but after a day, I suddenly thought, oh, I think the same way as these people. This is quite nice.
It's nice.
I can concur with what you're saying. It's and organising them. You organised the first one in Eastern Europe. I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Kati Jankowski, she organized the first one in Hungary. I think she organized 2 in Hungary, and then I organized one in Bucharest, and then another.
I got it mixed up. So.
Yeah, I organized 3. The Soul World one, and at the beginning I was I was a little bit frustrated because I wanted to bring it to Romania, and there were, I think, 150,000 people, 150 people coming. There were 20 people from Japan even coming, and there were just 5 people from Romania, and I thought, oh, I failed. But in the end, it was just, these people who were there, they were really kind of like these multiplicators, and this helped me a lot to spread it. And we're still connected. That was very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at your first one in Bucharest.
Yeah.
It was an amazing conference. It really was.
I think in terms of, you said that before you felt empty. So can you expand on that? How this approach made you feel? I don't know if the word is less empty, more full.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I think often because we're in the family therapy arena, that's kind of where we are. Often saying that the client is the expert is something that people just go, oh, whatever, So this you felt empty before. What can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. I was really tired, and I'm also now of course I'm tired after a long day, but I think the burden is that I don't feel responsible for the solution. I mean, I see the other one as capable and the expert to find a good solution and to know what is best, and that I don't have this responsibility to solve it. And I think when we are kind of course I have a responsibility as a facilitator, and I need to prepare very well and to create the right frame and to make things possible that they can emerge. But in the end, also to recognize I cannot control that. It's impossible. I don't know what the solution will be at the end. And to stay with this curiosity and this open mind, and I think that's very important when you recognize this. Also, when the client recognizes that you see them as capable, you perceive them, you look at them as somebody who has resources and qualities and has done something. And I have this just curiosity in this way to discover this together with them. It's more like a treasure hunt. It's not that I'm solving something for you. I'm teaching you. And and to stay in that mindset, because when I recognize I'm getting, of course, it happens sometimes, I think, oh, my goodness, what they're doing, is then to step back out of this quickly and just be curious what brings you this. And then it sometimes I'm so surprised about how you can switch the atmosphere so quickly. Yeah. And that gives me energy. I'm really often I'm coming home. When you said another highlight that came into my mind, that I have 2 children. They're now in their 20s, but they have been teenagers. I don't know if you know what this is.
We do, yeah. Yeah.
And my daughter, she was coming, and she kind of said, was kind of very upset from school. And I tried to ask some coaching question. And she was just, Mama, don't shrink me. I don't want to hear these questions. Don't do this. You're not my coach. Okay. I back off, back off. Okay. Just whatever. I just made dinner, whatever, you want me to do, to just provide the spare. And then we have created a game which is called a Solution Cafe. And it's a networking event, what we're doing once in a while. And it's very, very simple. It's just you have these questions with coaching questions on it, like you all can know them. They're very, very general, all these normal coaching questions that we are asking. And we have a pack of cards. And then is a certain format that we have created that people meet and they sit in groups of 3. They don't have to need anything about coaching. And we say, hey, there's one person who has a talking stick. This is the person who has the time to think. And the other people have 2 things to do. One is to ask these questions and to listen to the resources and to feed them back. And then everybody takes turn and you just go around, everybody. And it really gives a boost of energy. So I was coming in a very good mood. I was coming home and I was sorting all these cards because they were messed up on my kitchen table. And my daughter came and said, Mama, why are you in such a good mood? And I said, well, I did this game, and I have to sort the material again. And she said, I want to play that game as well. So I put the cards upside down on the table and said, well, pick a card. And then I'm going to ask you a question. And well, I did. And that was my first coaching conversation with my daughter. Being a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
It was very different. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what are you doing presently that brings you joy, I suppose? What work are you doing at the moment?
There are 2 things which I'm projects that they are on my heart. And one is to bring more the community in Romania together, the solution-focused community. And we're organizing now in the 5th year, I think, a retreat in the mountains. For the people who did the training or the solution-focused coaches to support one another in that. And it's all open space. So, the open space there is no program. So we create the program together. And yes, and there's also this wish basket, what we have. So there's one is you need the creating the space for, and the second is this wish basket, which I think is a very beautiful exercise whenever you have a gathering with a group over a couple of days. And the wish basket is that you can put a wish into a little bag, and so something that you would like to happen during this days, or how long it is. And it can be, I would like to have a coaching conversation. I would like somebody brings me a coffee to my bedroom in the morning, whatever you want, So it should be possible. And then somebody pulls this, and it's not that you have to fulfill the wish by yourself, but you should take care that this wish is somehow fulfilled. And this creates such an atmosphere of care, that everybody's just looking after one another. And what I really like about this event is that people said it's, they have very rarely sensed that they can be so authentic and open and honest with whatever they feel is the right thing to do. And at the same time, you have very deep connection with people you have never met before, and you have very deep conversations. And I think that's what we are really, really, really longing for, that we have more really conversations, and not just really conversation where we listen to one another, and when we really listen and we really connect. So this is one part. A project is really on my heart. We're going to do this in the summer again. And the other one is in this, so I do quite a lot of trainings. I do coaching trainings and have this coaching school that I'm training people to become solution-focused coaches with solution surfers. And what I like to bring more the the body awareness also into that, because I think sometimes our solution focused approach can be very mental, that we are kind of, just talking and we just forget that we have a body. And it's a huge resource also. We can work with that and we can use it, and what is happening, what do we sense? And then you invite somebody to, for example, when we're using the scale, using the scale and walking the scale with people, you really literally to let them walk in the room. And then when they are standing at the 10, you just see that their body language is changing. Yeah. And to use that, so to see what's happening now, how do you feel differently in your body, what becomes possible when you just sense there's this more space in your, whatever people say. And this is something I'm curious myself, and this is also how I bring this constellation work with the solution focused work more and more together. This was one training, so it's micro constellation that I have developed with a dear friend of mine, with Rita Klemmeyer, who unfortunately she died 2 years ago. And this is a program now that I'm still doing, and I really enjoy that. To use actually space in a solution focused way and use moving around in the room.
Petra, I can say I attended one of those courses with you and Rita in Belgium, and I was working with Wendy van der Valk, and just the joy of actually walking out, and we stood on the steps to get a different kind of sense, and suddenly this feeling of wow, 300. You could always, it was a 360 degree view of what we were trying to think about. And it was awesome. So the constellation work, I think, is magical at times.
We access something which is with our unconscious in this way. I had really the biggest, the constellations, were that coaching session that had the biggest impact for myself as a client, and that's probably why I like this work so much.
So actually, Petra, I'd like to ask you a question, which stems from what you were saying about the wish basket. And we attended retreats, Soul World retreats, and we always did the wish basket there. So I'd like to ask you, can you remember the 2 wishes that you had? Because they made a big impact on me.
I don't know if you were in the one in Greece.
I was in Greece. What
was it? It was in Greece. I think that one.
Stayed in my mind. That's how profound they were.
I think it was one. I don't know exactly what my wish was, but I remember how you fulfilled it. I think the one when I was in Romania, because we were an organizing team of 3 women who organized it. It was Lieselotte, me, and
I wasn't in Romania.
You were not there, but they were kind of, I said something, I would love to have a little ceremony kind of celebrating the people who organized it, which was, we did some work, and they did such a nice thing. They were carrying us like queens around, And then, but I don't remember which one. Do you remember, John?
Okay, so I can tell you the first one I remember was I had to sing a song in German in a Köln dialect. So not just German, but Köln dialect, which is it's a bit like Mancunian or Newcastle, for those of you. Totally.
And you pulled the wish. You pulled the wish.
But I got the next one the next year, which was I'd like an evening of Scottish dancing. I had to organise an evening of Scottish dancing, knowing less about Scottish dancing than I know about Welsh anything. And I was like, I really want to fulfil this wish, but how can I do this? How can I do this? And I just started asking around, and someone said, well, there is someone who I think she does Scottish dancing. And so I went to Sarah and said, Sarah, I've got this wish. do you do Scottish dance? You said, oh yes, I love Scottish dancing. So I said, if I do the music, could you do the dancing? So we had this wonderful evening in Switzerland, I think it was.
Yes, it was in Switzerland. Yes.
Or Hungary or Switzerland. And we had this wonderful evening of Scottish dancing, but I have never felt more like, oh my, how am I going to meet this wish? And actually, it's funny because you're absolutely right. You just really want to meet the wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it creates something in the group. It creates something in the group because we want to do something good for somebody else. And I think when we express that, what is something that would be good for me? It's something that would bring me joy. You love to do that. Even if you have no clue about Scottish dances, you're going to make it happen. Yeah. I remember I had once the wish that came into my mind. I said, I have no clue about tango. I said, I would like to dance a tango. And the person who pulled the wish had no clue about tango. So they were asking everybody in the guest house, the waiter, the people who were in the restaurant, if they could dance tango. And they finally found somebody who could dance tango with me. And it was so hilarious, the whole scene they were working around it, on the last dinner, he asked me for a tango. It was really nice. So you should make a wish that is also possible to fulfill. And I like to make wishes that also are a little bit fun for the whole group.
If I may just say one I had to do was someone asked for a walk in the stars, under the stars, and so I thought, well, we could add to that. So I found a couple of musicians, and we sang "Starry, Starry Night" to her as we walked.
Yes.
And that was magical. That was magical,
isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And I think this wish that we express what I would like to want, what I want, that we also we dare to express it, we dare to say it. What would I love? What is something that would really make me feel good? It gives this possibility that it happens, and that's also what we do with Solution Focus. I mean, what is your preferred future? How would you like things to be? What would you like to experience? And to dare to speak it out also. Yeah.
It's almost like the miracle question being fulfilled.
Yes.
Can I just read a question from Yvonne, who I haven't spoken to in a very long time? I miss you, Yvonne. I think the idea around the connection between the physical body and thinking is interesting. Can you please explain more about how movement and physical environmental change impacts on thinking and perspective?
Yeah. So maybe it is just to have a little experiment, when you think of a situation that at the moment is challenging in your life, just think of something, and you go into a position, that you kind of shrink yourself, put your head down, make fists, and just think of this situation, and you think of this just for a moment, and just see what are your emotions, what are your thoughts related to the situation, and then you relax, you kind of open up, you sit straight, you look around, and you take a deep breath, and you think now of the situation, and what are your emotions, and what are your thoughts? And most likely, if it was a very, very tiny, short exercise now, but our physical position, the way how we, our muscles, our body has an impact on the way we're thinking. And it's just, there is just a very close connection with both. And what I love to do, for example, in the trainings, just when we are, for example, we position, when you see you're looking at a different situation that's difficult for you, and this came up in a coaching conversation, and then you literally choose an object in the room which represents the situation for you. And it can be anything, you just look at it, maybe it is a picture as the wall, and then you position yourself and you're looking at it now, and I'm asking the person, so when this is the challenging situation and you look at it, how do you feel in your body when you're looking at it? And what are your thoughts? How are you acting? What do other people see you doing in this context? And you just ask, because this is kind of the reference point where the person is right now, which is not yet very solution focused, just description of how it is now. And then you invite the person literally, just suppose a miracle has happened overnight and you wake up at your best, and now go and move in the room and go to that place when you wake up in the morning and just really move. And the movement makes a difference. And you go to this place, a different place in the room. And from that place, you now look at this, whatever the object is that represents the challenging situation. And you just see how people stay differently. Often I also then ask you, and I ask this question, so I start with the body perception. Often they say, oh, I feel more relaxed when I wake up in the morning, and asking more in detail. So where do you feel the relaxation, And they really, really put the attention to that. And what becomes possible when you're more relaxed? And how are you acting when you're more relaxed? And we ask all the solution-focused questions. How will people recognize that the miracle has happened, and so on? All these questions. But I'm including the body perception in it. And the interesting part is because when you're standing and when you're moving, it makes this experience even stronger, because your whole body experiences it. You sense really that you feel the relaxation, whatever it is. You feel more freedom in your chest. You feel kind of there's something changing. And it's just another resource that we really, really experience the miracle. And yes, and that is for me, again and again, a surprise that we are thinking differently when we are in different places. Also, for example, when we're having conflict situations, I had once a manager, he came to me and he said he had a person in his team. And I said, I don't really know what to do with this guy. Should I use more pressure, or should I make it more attractive to him to be more performing better? And so we prepared a little bit. I said, so how would you have this conversation with the person when you would meet him here? And we prepared this conversation. And I put 2 chairs in the room. And I asked him first to sit on his chair, talking to the guy on the other chair. And I put my hand so that he could kind of talk to him. And then he moved on the other chair. And I repeated what he would have said. And sitting there, he said, the job is too big for him. I can do what I want. He's not able to do it. I have to find a different person. And just sitting there, it just came to him. Yeah. And I think this is much more difficult when we're just staying in our mind. Yeah. Maybe he would come to the same insight, but for me, it just speeds up. Yeah.
And you talk about conflict Petra, and building on what you said and Yvonne asked about physical environment, and so just getting people to go for a walk and talk, and just talk about how would I like this relationship to be, and so now there's no eye-to-eye contact. It's not threatening in any way. You've got the physical outside that can be like a muse of a distraction, and it just becomes a much more relaxed way to do it, and people come back from that and feel like they've had a good conversation with someone. It takes all the threat away, because with conflict often it's the fear of the conversation, isn't it? So if we can reduce that, and for a tip with those with teenagers, is to do that. Go for a walk with them, or Michael Grinder, real body language person, talks about just sit in the car with them. Always have a conversation with them in the car, a difficult conversation with a teenager in the car, so they don't look at you, because they feel very threatened by looking at you. So there you go, just a couple of tips. Nice question.
Yeah. And because often there's so many questions I want to ask, I don't even know where to start. Right. So we have often in the solution focused approach, depending on which person who came up with the approach you follow, it's like it's the language. It's only the language that matters. and the body language means nothing. It's nothing to do with it at all. And the physical environment, and what you're saying about when you said the mountains of Romania, I always felt, I wish I was there. Do you know what I mean? Because there's something about being in nature that it completely changes our perspective of things. So, because I went back to Italy for a long time and many, many, many years, and sat on the balcony in the evening and just looked at a mountain. It wasn't doing anything. It was still there, but it just felt peaceful.
Yes,
So
exactly.
do we miss a trick here in terms of just focusing on language? Is there something else that we should be looking? Because just another thing that came to mind. When we did the scales with children at schools, we put the numbers on a card and we'd lay them out and let the children physically walk to where they thought they were, then look back to see how far they'd come, then look forward. Just that movement seemed to make a difference.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I just really think we miss out a very important resource when we don't do that, And that exactly what I said with this moving. Was another program. I was involved in. It was with schools here in Romania. They introduced coaching into the schools, and they were having a midterm session where these schools were evaluating this themselves. How are we making progress with this? And I had helped. There were about 50 people coming, and there were 5 schools, and from each school were about 10 people coming. And at the very beginning, one of the directors of the school, she was coming to me and she said, I don't know why we're doing this, still we have so many problems with the children, this is just a waste of time. And she was coming at the very beginning. I said, well, let's see what we are doing. And we did a scaling walk with the schools. So they were in the very big group, and each school was in this big room. And I said, when a scale from 1 to 10, when 10 is all your best hopes when you signed up for the program were fulfilled, and 1 is the opposite, when you started it, where are you on that scale? And they moved in the group. They moved in there, and then they were talking about, what is, all these questions, what we're asking, what is better, what is different, what we have helped there. And then we invited them to visit the other schools, and say, so what did you do? And why are you standing here? And what did you try out? And it was, they were looking at what was working, and what we're doing, and then making it more specific. So how will it be when you're making a step forward, and what will you recognize that? And all this question, and it just raised the energy, it raised the energy. And there were so many ideas and so many things which they recognized what is actually they are already doing. Yes, and still some children are skipping school. Yes, and some take drugs, and it's difficult to reach them. But many, many, many things were helping. And in the end, some of the schools, they had really doubled the number of children that finished, that made the exams in the end, It was really very impressive. Yeah, that was a nice project.
Yeah.
And moving, I think really this moving in space, that helps a lot. And I really like to do that, especially with people which are very much in their head. Yeah, and everybody has a body. Everybody has a body.
Yeah.
And I had a person, a manager, she came to the coaching and she said, I have such a squeaky voice. Nobody takes me serious. And so we did some coaching question, and I did also moving her and let her step into the miracle. And just her voice changed when she was standing there.
Wow.
Yeah, because it had something to do with whatever, how she was breathing, how she was grounded, how she felt safe and confident, all these things. And her voice changed. And I just made her aware of, what is different now? Do you recognize how your voice is different? And she recognized, yes. And I said, what's happening now? What makes it possible? And you can work with that. You can work with that when just see what's happening. And so we don't need to interpretate anything. So it's not about interpreting body language, when somebody's looking like this and looking like this and all these things. But I just really, it's just a given fact, you know. We can, it's a connection between emotions, body, perception, and thinking. It's a triangle.
Yeah.
And we're missing out one, very simple, when we ignore it.
Because you do see a shift in body language,
Yes.
and tone of voice, the more confident they're feeling in whatever it is that they're discussing.
Yeah.
But you do see a shift. You can't help but notice a shift in body
Exactly.
language.
Yeah. You see that.
And I think Hasten also agrees with you. Hello, Petra.
Hi.
Hasten's ignoring Joe, John, and I, but that's okay.
Oh, hi, Hasten.
Hi, Hasten. I really appreciate the practice of integrated interaction, and I understand what we mean by language in SF incorporates both audible and visual, as it will be a huge mistake to focus on one dimension. 100%.
And I think when we do it in a solution-focused way, we just bring the attention when we see a shift happening in this direction that is the desired direction. And it's not interpreting, it's just asking what's happening now. Do you give the client this possibility to recognize it and stay with that, and then just see what becomes possible, or your thoughts changing, your interactions changing.
I mean, John, can I ask John, actually? John, do you notice, I mean, is body language important to you, and what the shift that you see? Because I know you do a lot of work with young people. We do some work, don't you, with young people. Do you notice it happening there?
What I think, maybe it fits with what Hyson was saying, was the idea that the language and the body can't be separated as such. I think that's what she was saying. Forgive me, Hyson, if that wasn't quite what you said. And that I'm thinking of singing lessons, actually, if I can use that. But if you ever do singing lessons, which I had to do once to do a part, you go to a singing coach, and actually most of what they do with you is body. Yeah, they alter your body, the way you use your throat, the way you use your lungs. It's all it's hi, Marissa. It's all about the body, and so you can't separate that. So that's one factor. And boy, do they change your voice. The other, although some people who've heard me singing may disagree. But the other one I think you see is energy, and it's the energy in the voice. When you start, someone tells you about a problem and they're all deflated, but then when you ask a miracle type question or whatever question about the future perfect, then suddenly they're alive and they're describing it, and it just becomes I run some mentoring training quite often, and there was someone the other week, and she'd been very quiet throughout, and then I was doing a kind of demonstration of one of the tools, and suddenly when I asked her the question about the future, she just became this different person. So I think very much people, anyone, it doesn't matter whether they're young, they could be 80 years old, they will change their energy. The questions can change energy, and I think a lot of people see that. A lot of people can see that, and it's one of the things I love to bring out is notice the energy. Yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Can I ask Petra? I know earlier you said you organised this event and you wanted to bring solution focus to Romania, and only 5 turned up. Is there something, because it seems solution focus has crossed all kind of cultures. Is there something that it's, I don't know, what's the common factor in this approach that makes it culturally, it's almost universal in a way?
Yeah, I really think it is universal. I think one of the what for me, one of the essence is also really in solution focus, that we are seeing the other one in resources, and that we express that, and that we make people aware of that. And that's when I really always see, it doesn't matter when I'm doing some exercises and making some positive gossiping, so people can really experience that resources are there. It always works. It doesn't matter. And I think we have a very deep need to be seen and to be recognized, and which is human. And I think, I don't know what makes it so really. I think the other thing is also this, with the preferred future, and that we have this power of imagination that is there. And I just, Paul, when you said, just see the change in the body, it just happens. You just said it happens instantly. That's for me this fascination. I really see it happening again and again. That is there. It's in us. It's just there. It's just covered. There is this healthy part in us that is just there. And maybe just we like people. We need people who believe in us. And as solution-focused coaches, we do that. We believe in that there is something, that there are possibilities, that there's options, there's something possible.
Yeah, it's a very, very respectful approach, isn't it?
Yes, it's a very respectful approach.
No matter where you are in the world, as long as you can answer some silly questions, as I call them, with clients, then and the beautiful thing is that as the practitioners or coaches or the therapists, we've just been positively curious and learning about them in their world.
And when I'm listening to you, and I think what is also something, it creates really a safe environment. And I think that is essential when we want to learn and when we dare something new. I'm always struggling, and people say we need to get people out of their comfort zone, because I don't believe in that. When you pull somebody out of comfort zone, immediately the person goes back. But what I think what we need to do is to enlarge the comfort zone, that we dare to try something else. And when we enlarge the comfort zone, and that's what we do with our solution-focused questions and with the feedback and the resourcing and all this, and that you just see how people feel comfortable to try out something which before they said, I cannot do that. I don't see myself. And then you recognize, well, actually, when you're looking a little bit in details, you did it before. Yeah.
Joe, may I add to your universal concepts? I was at a JSOL, Japanese Soul Conference, back in 2014 with Marco Ronzani, and we were asked to do this demonstration. We were talking about body language and things like that, and we did a demonstration just literally on the spur of the moment, where we had a Japanese lady who didn't speak English. And so we asked questions, and the questions were translated, but they never translated the answers. And all we had to go on was her reaction.
Oh, wow.
And we did this probably 15-minute interview with her, or conversation with her. And at the end, she was asked, did that help? And she went, yeah.
Yes.
And so actually, is it the questions? Possibly, I'm not sure. Is it that we believed that she could answer them? And I don't know. That was a really magic moment for me. It was just like, there is something about this whole approach, and there's much more to it than just questions.
Because often I think in maybe in many cultures, when you go to see somebody for help, you expect them to you respect them so much that they're going to give you the right answers, but to tell them that you actually have the answers, we just haven't discovered it yet, is almost like a complete shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know my parents would have always listened to teachers, doctors, because they had that label of I am an expert, and so yeah, that was the only reason. In terms of culture, I guess we all have wants, needs, desires, and it's just how a route to get there in saying, right, you actually have some strengths and resources. We just need to help you realize that they're there. But in some cultures, it might be more difficult, I suppose, to get that message across, because it's always been, you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. So to dare really to look into yourself, to really to dare. So then that's what I think when we really create this safe space that we do in solution focused about this and small attention. That I think it's really a lot about safety. That people feel safe, and then they dare also to maybe to look into themselves and what they have done and what they would like to do and what could work and what are the answers coming up inside of them.
So what's your next project, Petra? What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? Oh, it's something very crazy what I'm going to do. Actually, it has it has something to do with, I really think we have a huge where that nature has a power. I grew up in not in the forest but in a village, and I played a lot in the forest, and I did something. It's not solution focused work, but it's a project that is on my heart, and that is a vision quest. I don't know what that is. It's a shamanic ritual when you go into the forest for 4 days. I did it for 4 days, 3 nights, and you will just really go by yourself and you stay with that. Stay with that, what a question, intention, what you have. And you're all alone, you know. I didn't even put my tent on. And it was not easy because, you know, there is nothing to do. Can you imagine? Nothing to do for no telephone, no book, nothing, you know. You
I would love that, Petra.
With you, yes. And I just really loved it. And it I mean, I take myself with me, you know, with all my questions, my whatever I'm doing. But it was really something magic for me, you know, being in nature for such a time. And I love to go in nature. I'm hiking a lot. I need nature. Half of the time I live in the mountains. And that is something what at this moment I want to explore even more, how to integrate nature, how our as you said, walking in nature, you know, going in nature, using what is there, and integrating that even more in my work, and also inviting people more to go in nature with me and see what is becoming possible, because it widens our perspective. You know, sometimes we're so narrow, and I'm myself the same, you know, when I'm in the city, and okay, most people live in the city. I live also a big part of my life in the city. And to take this with us, you know, this space, this thinking space, and then to see how what is emerging out of it. I won't even say what we are doing differently, but yes, and I see that this, because we are really going through some crazy times. I mean, after COVID, now here in Ukraine is a neighbor country, so the war is very close, and I see a lot of people are quite shaken in their lives. And I think we need to try out different things. You know, we need to find new ways of dealing with that. And for me, solution focus is definitely the foundation. I cannot imagine to work in a different way than in a solution focus way. But I'm experimenting with different settings and bringing different ways together and interweaving this and reaching out and seeing how we can do that. And experiencing nature is for me, something what I'm more and more experimenting with. And that's why I do these retreats in the mountains. And for example, I like very much that it started with something more professional, exchanging of, what kind of project we have, what kind of tools I developed, what do I do as a coach. And it really changed in the last year. It becomes more and more a gathering where we're working and we are there for one another. We're helping whatever's coming up. And what I love about it, that people bring also their children. And so it's not a children program. If they want to come, they're part of it. And so they're part of the opening round, when we just exchange something, whatever, this little exercise that we do at the beginning. And I remember that at the beginning, so mostly there's some teenagers, 4 or 5 teenagers, which are also there. And one of these teenagers, we say this, when you're 13, you're kind of in between, he was kind of, at the beginning, he came to his mother and he said, oh, this is horrible where you brought me here. You made me talk to strangers. This is horrible.
Where's the internet?
The hair to here, I don't want to see anybody. But, through all this appreciation, and he was part of the group. He was just, he did the exercises and he just flourished in these 5 days, And his brother, he also in this open space, he also offered a workshop then. And he said, I'm going to offer, how did it call it? A mindful origami workshop. And he taught us how to make paper planes that really fly very well. And it was great, and it doesn't matter what things are coming up. It is this appreciative space where people can be themselves. And my dream is to create a summer village, where we just know we can meet people. There is this space of a solution-focused, appreciative way and just see what is emerging. Yeah, that's my dream. And I have the place already.
You have? Excellent.
Yes, I'm living in a village in the mountains, in the Carpathian Mountains. So this is my dream. We're going to, at the moment, I don't know how I can really expand it. This is, that's why I'm talking with a lot of people about this. How can we make it, and at the same time, that's what I'm already managing in the retreat, that I don't have to I just hold the space at the beginning and then I'm just normal participant. I don't have to, do anything. And yeah, in this way you can multiply it. This is at the moment on my mind.
When you get this summer village up and running, I will put me on the list. Ash,
I will.
Is that something?
Joe, I was thinking about my daughter.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, me also. But.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So it's not a children program. It's just they have.
I know, but she needs it.
Yeah. And there's one of them. She's coming already. She's coming the 4th year now, and she just sits in the corner. And she does her homework, she just wants to be in this environment. She just loves to be there. And her mother tells me, she always asked in January, is it going to happen again? Please.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because she just senses this appreciative, and you're part of it, and we respect you, and you're here with whatever you want to contribute. And if you don't want to contribute, that's fine as well. And and that's what I like, that it's really crossing the generations also.
Yeah. So we need to look out for when you start this summer village.
I will let you know.
Petra will email us.
Yeah.
I will.
I love the name, Petra, Summer Village. It's just got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Well, we have. Sorry, Hasten. I also have access to children that I can regularly manipulate. Yeah, we know. Please share the summer village info. I'm telling you, we're all going to be sending our children there, Hazel.
Yes, I want to go with them.
Nieces. Joe can go with them.
Yes, definitely.
We'll be at the bar with Petra. John will be singing.
Yeah, or a Scottish dance,
or
cooking sea bass, or cooking
sea bass.
That's it. Yeah, send us your kid. We'll send you back a new one. I like that. And we need a guarantee with that as well. When we get our money back.
Yeah.
Do they do them on Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime. But we've come. It's already been an hour. That was very, very quick.
Oh God, yes.
Any last words from you, John, Joe, and then Petra?
Word from me would just be thank you to Petra for a really entertaining hour and thought-provoking hour as well. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and can I tell the story about 6 years ago today? Today, Facebook put up on my account a picture of Petra and I in Warsaw when we were working with a big company out there, and just appeared today, and here we are.
Isn't that funny?
That is
Coincidence.
the spookiest thing. So unless of course Facebook are looking at my emails for my
well,
they probably do.
and the other thing, I think we've had to postpone this a few times, haven't we, Petra? Already this chat, and it just happened to fall on this day, so maybe it's fate.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I knew about it all along.
It's been such a pleasure, guys. Honestly, it's made me and your enthusiasm is so contagious, but a nice contagion.
Infectious.
So yeah, thank you both so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, it really has. And I've missed FBS chats, as we haven't done any for a while, but this reminds me why we do them. I learned so much from everyone. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for the invitation to join you. And I'm curious to hear more about it, other conversation that you're going to organize.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I met you a few months ago, Petra, and I remember ending the Zoom call and running upstairs going, oh my God, I love her. She's absolutely brilliant. I want to be her. She's brilliant. And you are a huge inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us. And I can't believe the hour went by so quick. So quick. But we are back next week with another FBS chat. So we will see you guys next week. But if I could just ask you guys to just stay on, just so we can say a private goodbye. And to everybody else, we will see you then. Take care.
And who's next week?
Giza.
Giza.
Giza.